Wednesday. Let's chat. Hi, I'm Kanan Chandran, the publisher of stormasia.com, and this is our series of regular chats on topics of interest and issues that we want to get some answers to. The WED WEB chat has been ongoing since the middle of last year when COVID was in full force. The restrictions were in full force, rather. COVID is still around, sadly. But as we can see, the way the virus is mutating and the way we are trying to tackle it has made things much more complicated than we would like it to be. We were hoping for an easier transition this year. It's not working out quite as we had expected. Looking at what the International Labour Organization has said, the global labor income is estimated to have declined by 10.7%, or US $3.5 trillion in the first 3 quarters of 2020. That was last year, and that was at the initial point of impact of COVID. A year on, and the fact that we haven't really improved our situation means that we could be in for more worse figures. We'll have to see how that shapes up, because now with in Singapore we've got the phase 2 heightened measures, which we are hoping to ease by the 13th. Malaysia is still in a full movement control order, so they are unable to transact or do any business. That means more businesses are going to be unable to operate, more jobs will be lost, more businesses will fold. And although vaccinations are underway, the virus still persists. So let's see how it shapes up. But maybe in all of this, we'll see a whole bunch of new entrepreneurs coming up because of what they have been forced to do. Those who have lost jobs are starting to do new things. So we've got in our group today of panelists, 4 people who have sort of struck out and done things on their own. We've got Frank Shen, who's a pioneering activist in the Singapore craft beer community, who opened his own bar, American Tap Room, to bring his passion directly to consumers. And now he's recently started, in the midst of COVID, Laut, a restaurant focusing on regional produce, together with the former bartender of Native, Leon Tan. Welcome, Frank. We've got Susan, who has been in the entertainment business, working behind the scenes for stage shows, product launches, and in Hong Kong films, before she moved into the F&B industry. That was in 2016. Her edgy cafe revived a lot of the family recipes and heritage Peranakan cuisines, which she now incorporates into the menu at Heritage Corner, which opened yesterday in Tampines. So congratulations on the opening, Susan, and welcome to the show. I know you're very busy, so glad you could just manage to get in. We've got Anna Milani, who's the founder and CEO of Sparkd. Anna's research into the impact of exercise on a person's brain, coupled with the loss of her grandfather to Alzheimer's, led to the founding of Sparkd. Anna's goal with Sparkd is to help people improve and maintain their brain health using cutting-edge technologies in neuroscience. Welcome, Anna.
Thank you.
And we have Prashant Somosundram, who's the general manager of the Projector. This is the indie cinema which a lot of people have taken a liking to because of the some of the unusual programs that you put out and some of the interactive sessions you have with various people who have been involved in some of the films. He oversees the operations, curation of films and events at the flagship cinema in Golden Mile Tower and the new pop-up at Riverside Point. Welcome, Prashant. So all of you have had your own reasons for opening up something during this period, this uncertain times. Maybe if you could just very quickly give me a couple of sentences on why you decided to take the plunge. Let's start with Frank.
Yeah, so for Laut, we opened on the 8th of April last year. We decided to do it anyway because we realized that the market is missing what we are doing, the concept, the idea behind it, the intentions behind it. and we believe we would be able to see it through till we reopen, and we didn't expect a second lockdown.
Yes, got taken by surprise, right? Okay, Prashant?
Yeah, I think for us, I mean, the cinema itself has been running since 2016. So, that's definitely older. But for us, the opening a new venue came out a lot more of necessity with all the restrictions and capacity. And so it was an opportunity for us to also think about designing a space which is smaller, intimate, and even socially distanced. So for now, the Riverside Point venue is the only socially distanced cinema by design in Singapore. And, we foresee that the interest in going to a space like this may last even beyond COVID. So for us, it was beyond necessity and the opportunity to try something new.
Okay. How about you, Anna?
Yeah, a bit like for the other guys, I'd been planning for this project for a long, long time. Then COVID hit, I waited, I pondered, and then it got to a point where things were starting to move on a bit faster. And as Frank said, I just didn't expect a sort of semi-second lockdown, so I just went for it. And a bit like with Prashant, with the space we have, we offer small classes, small group training. So yeah, likewise, we can have that kind of social distancing going on despite the restrictions. So yeah.
Okay. And Susan, for yourself?
Same thing. We didn't expect the second lockdown, but then it's a good thing for us, Heritage Corner, at F&B, where I guess more people, we expect more people to tapao, and business has been. I mean, since yesterday we opened, it has been awesome. So yeah, so that's why I'm like so sorry I'm late.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I think we were all commenting that at least somebody is doing well in all of this. But I know for all of you, you planned this perhaps for a period of time, and then when things hit and you suddenly hit the speed bump, this massive speed bump. Did you have to review your business plans and factor in that you wouldn't be able to take in so much income or customers, and that as a result, but meanwhile your operating expenses are still there, your costs are still there. How did you manage to balance all of that? Something, for instance, Susan, something like for you, I mean, you expect to do a certain amount of business, you need to deal with all your suppliers, and then what's that relationship been like, and how have you managed to resolve that?
In fact, we did not face any much of the obstacle of to start off with. In fact, it was quite smooth, and also we have very good landlords, I must say. They even give us so good special rate discount for all shops, for the whole food court, because we run in a food court, right? So the individual shops. So he has been kind to us, and also so far I think it's a good smooth journey for us, and also for delivery of the same vegetables, like all this coming in from Malaysia. Actually, no problem.
No issues.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything is good.
Cool. How about you, Anna? How's it been like for you?
Yeah, so when obviously we opened, I had my plans to sort of cater for like classes in-house, offer a service face-to-face. And so what I didn't do is I didn't plan too much ahead with online and all the rest, right? So all of a sudden, 2 months in, where we're trying to, get clients in, our classes were starting to get busy and sessions, then I had to quickly rechange the model, which I wasn't really prepared for. So, okay, let's try outdoor classes. Let's try online classes. Let's do this. So let's move all the resources. So that's been quite tough for us, because obviously the main customers, the way we train, and because of the technologies we have, customers get the full experience by really coming in. So it hasn't been very easy for us, to be honest, but we keep going, and we just waiting for restrictions to change and so on, prepping for the opening, really. Yeah.
Okay. How much do you think you would have lost out as a result of this? Do you have some sense, or like a percentage, that you could have done better had it not been for the second lockdown?
A lot. I mean, we've lost a lot. We're basically doing close to no income. I can tell you that.
Okay.
Yeah,
And how long
because
do you
the
think
way, well, we are hoping we've got summer camps booked for the summer. So they were supposed to start on last Monday, but obviously they've been postponed now to the 14th. So officially we are hopefully starting there. That's when we have kids coming in. So yeah, hopefully we can maximize now that time that is left of kids' holidays and get them in all at once. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Prashant, for you, how did that work out?
Yeah, I mean, so it has been a roller coaster, obviously. I think, it's echoing what everyone is saying. There's this emotion, so like we are recovering and all this, and then, you're optimistic, you're investing time and effort in certain initiatives, and then boom, it comes down again. But I think Circuit Breaker actually prepared us for this in a way. So much of the 4 months of Circuit Breaker, we had, the cinemas were shut down with no idea when we were going to reopen. And therefore, we developed a streaming platform, and we had kept that streaming platform going and alive with content throughout, even as the economy was recovering and people were starting to go out and all, with the potential that there would be a second wave or a closure. So for us, what now we have done is we've actually gone ahead to close our physical spaces, so that we cut down on operational costs and just focus on the virtual aspects that we've already developed. We still kept all our manpower because for us, we want to be able to ride the new wave that comes again when everybody starts opening up. And so we're poised to take advantage of that. So we are keeping everyone intact, keeping the team intact, but just focusing on the virtual aspect now.
So with behavior leading up to this, the move towards things like Netflix and all the streaming platforms, would it have made it easier for people who would normally have gone to the projector to accept the fact that now it's coming in via another medium?
Yeah, I mean, that education portion or changing of behavior was actually quite easy. People were also quite willing to support because they see, oh, it's an independent cinema, we want this to survive. How can we help you guys survive? Like, so with merchandising and everything else, they've also then gone ahead to stream because they are pretty much stuck at home with nothing to do anyway. What our fear was that behavior would change so much that they will get so comfortable with staying at home. But actually what we found out is the moment we started to reopen, people just wanted to come out. So where we ended up being was to find new audiences who were more interested in staying at home or because they couldn't come down to the cinemas.
How do people get onto the virtual platform for you?
So everything is centralized into our own website, the projector.sg. So when you go there, you can either find the Projector Plus, which is our streaming platform, or you find movies that are showing on the cinema. So it's just one destination, and then you choose what experience you want.
So at the back end, you had to install new things to make that smooth, right?
It was a very steep learning curve. 4 months trying to remotely talk to developers in Pakistan to develop a streaming technology, because we're so familiar with using a projector to screen to 200 people, but now we're dealing with so many different devices and all that, and Android, Apple, and all this, and trying to customize the experience for everyone. So that was a little bit challenging, but we did it.
Frank, I suppose for you, it's the virtual thing is a no go for you, right? A bit hard to eat food virtually. What was your strategy then in terms of trying to cope with all this new round of lockdowns?
So for us, I think very similar to Prashant, roller coaster ride. Surprisingly, last year when we couldn't open, we managed to switch over to the online platform in like 3 to 5 days. I mean, again, steep learning curve, non-stop 24 hours for like a couple of days. And we managed to do okay last year, actually. And this year is interesting because we were actually well prepped for it. We expected it, and we actually turned it around because so basically after when we reopened, we decided to stop selling food online for delivery because me and my partner, we did all the deliveries ourselves. We didn't rely on any third party because of costs and manpower costs and everything. I mean, we are there every day anyway. But this round, when we tried to make things a lot easier for everybody. This lockdown is not really like a lockdown. It's like a heightened alert, and people are just, the mindset of people are just slightly different, where they can still go out and stuff like that. So we were not as busy as we thought we would be, which is why I'm here now talking to you during lunch hour. But yeah, so when we pivot, it was really, really stressful the first time last year. This time it was a lot easier because everything, like what Prashant said, was all set in stone, right? The websites were ready, the online platforms were ready, payments online were ready. We knew who to contact to do what. Yeah, so I mean, the process-wise, it was pretty upfront for us. We kind of knew what to do.
So are you guys saying that I'll be ready for the next lockdown next year?
Let's hope there's no more next one.
Well, at least we laugh about it, but it's as long as the virus keeps mutating, you don't know what's going to happen. The fact that there's no guarantee the vaccine is going to cover the next mutation. Well, we'll just have to see how all that shapes up. But how has the government support? Have you made use of the government support that's been offered? Susan, in starting up something. Oh yeah, Frank.
Oh, okay. So we try. I think we do what we can to see how we can use the support to the maximum. But it's like, I mean, government is government, right? When they want you to do something, or they want to give you some money or grants, it's always not that easy, and it always takes time because of the processes in place and everything. So, like, for example, if I want to claim something, it's gonna take me 3 to 6 months. For example. So obviously throughout the year we managed to get some, but some of the stuff some of the requirements that are required to apply for those grants are not really suited for really small businesses. Like, I'm not going to invest like 20,000 to make something better so I can claim back 15,000, for example. It doesn't make sense for a small business like us. For bigger organizations, maybe, it makes more sense. They have the cash flow to run. For us, we're like, I'd rather keep this and pay the team a little bit more. Yeah.
Okay. Prashant, how about your side?
Yeah, I mean, for us, definitely, I mean, during circuit breaker, the job support scheme and the rental relief and all that was critical. I mean, we wouldn't be here if not for that. So that was useful in keeping the team intact and keeping ourselves going. This year, obviously, it's a bit more challenging because it's actually more restrictive for us to be open, but without F&B on premises. It's more challenging to keep that going than to be closed with that full support. So it's definitely a lot more challenging. We had expected a bit more of a job support subsidy, which currently now cinemas are only packed at 30%, whereas F&Bs are packed at 50%. And with a large team running 2 venues, that was the reason why we decided to shut the physical venues and just focus on our virtual stuff so that you don't have incremental costs. But on the side of that, we've also taken advantage of some development grants, more technology-related development grants, which we are working on, where the government supports up to 80% of your investment costs and all that. And that's designed a bit more for a long-term thing for us to then potentially expand in future.
Okay. What could have been done better, you think? How could you have been supported better?
Well, I mean, it's always a bit challenging because they are also reacting to the situation. So, like at that point where they're like, okay, this is implemented, we don't even know like what kind of support we're going to have. So we need to make these business decisions based on whatever little information that we have before you run out of cash. So there's always a bit of this challenge, which, I mean, in a way you can't blame the authorities that you're dealing with because they are also responding to real-time situations. Yeah, but I think it's a bit more of like communicating or understanding what your challenges are. I think some of that may have fallen through. Like maybe when you talk about cinemas, you're allowed to be open, but without the F&B portion, it's a very significant loss of revenue stream, which maybe not everyone understands, and the decision-making authorities may not see that as a huge loss because you're like, you can be open, people will go. But then at the same time, you're discouraging everyone you're telling everyone just stay home, don't go out. So there's a bit of a paradox that's happening, which has been a lot of our challenge.
Okay. I suppose everybody's trying to find a way through this.
Yeah.
all these changes that are sweeping around us, right? Anna, for you, did you face some of those issues as well? I mean, did you try and take advantage of any grants?
Yeah, I
Or-
mean, obviously we just opened, so there's only limited options we have really. But yes, we have applied and we are waiting for sort of some rent relief, hopefully, or yeah, the JSS scheme as well. But that's again is not being paid out until August, I think. Right. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what we have done. Or apart from the rest, we're trying to keep overheads low as much as possible. Yeah.
Okay. So for all of you, what's a good thing that has come out of COVID in terms of how you have approached your business? Susan?
I guess for F&B is especially I'm just speaking for myself lah, because it's mine, it's in the food court, right? So basically it's in the heartland. Um, everybody will definitely need to come out and tapao back. So basically I feel that seeing this 2 days, right, things have make us, I mean, it has made us feel better and more confident in in doing what we are doing now. I mean, it has not so far lah, so far. The only maybe like what Frank was saying earlier also, like, it's very difficult to get money from the government. I totally agree with that. Yes, because when I used to run my edgy cafe, it's pretty easy to claim some, even you buy a fridge you can claim, but right now you can't. So yeah, so it's only like the higher technology, advanced equipment, then you can claim, right? Is that right, Frank? Yeah, I guess that's yeah. So we keep it simple, and I guess, yeah, I think it's pretty good now. I mean, let's hope.
Okay.
Yeah, let's hope it will be better lah.
Okay. So for you, taking the plunge was worthwhile, right? I mean,
Yes, it's
all
definitely.
this came about because of COVID, or how long
Okay.
were you planning for this outlet?
Actually, it's pretty fast. It's a chop last minute, maybe a month. We came up with this store within a month.
Wow.
And
Just before the second tightening, alert, right? So then we were a bit worried, because whether, I think, is there going to be an actual close lockdown again? But so far, thank goodness, our cases are not that high. So government is keeping it that way, and it's going to open up soon. So I think, yeah, it's pretty good for us right now.
but you've also factored in delivery, right? So is there an online? Can you order
Yes.
online?
Right at the moment, no, because too last minute. So you have to actually apply. You have to, like, give them photos. You have to, like, tell them your
Okay.
menu. So this is going to take a bit longer. So maybe another 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So that's where we lose out lah. I mean,
Okay.
yeah. Other than that,
You're set up to accommodate that if you had to, right?
yeah, yes.
Okay. How about you, Prashant? The one good thing or a few good things, if there are, that have come out of COVID.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, there's always this joke about how, COVID is the CTO for a lot of companies. It forces you to develop your own, like, technology. I mean, little would I have known that we would be running a streaming platform if you asked me this at the start of early last year. But yeah, I mean, here we are. So it kind of forced us to innovate and be a bit more creative. And the great thing about it is now, we've invested time and energy in that platform, and that breaks us out of the physical confines of what our two cinema venues restrict us to. So we've even had interest from, like, the region, because we offer certain curated art house kind of content, which even other regional cinemas don't offer. So we have had people approaching us to see how we can then license our content to the region. So there's definitely scope for growth. And a venue like Riverside Point wouldn't have happened if not for COVID, because Susan was talking about landlords. I think landlords really play an important role in this. Like Riverside Point would not have happened if, Far East wasn't a willing landlord to try and offer this space for us to experiment a bit of a different concept and at the right price. If we're going to pay market rates, we wouldn't be in a situation to do that.
And how long is this agreement for?
This is till the end of next year, so end of 2022, with the potential of extending, or we have actually a different site that's being built also in Grange Road. So the idea when we designed everything here at Riverside Point was either it can stay or it will go lock, stock and barrel to the new venue in Grange Road that will open up in 2023. So that has been delayed because of COVID construction restrictions. But otherwise it should be end 2022 or early 2023.
Okay. Frank, how about you? Any positives out of COVID?
Yeah, I mean, with every storm, there's always a rainbow, right? They say. For us at Laut, although it was a roller coaster ride for me and my partner, but what we saw during this period was actually like how the team actually come together, because we spend so much time together in the restaurant. We bond together, we understand one another better. We spend a lot of time understand each other better. So when we actually opened, when we were running the operations, everything was kind of like flowing very smoothly. So I think that's really, really good for the team morale. The other thing is we have a lot of downtime during deliveries because we have like lunch and dinner, and then we got everything in between is kind of like free time. So we actually use that time to do like research and development, new dishes, new tasting menu. We come up with like a lot of random stuff. We just buy stuff randomly from suppliers and try. And I think this kind of activities really bonded the team. For us last year, I think we did like some workout together every 2 days because we had nothing to do. We're like, okay, guys, let's work out. I mean, I wasn't fond of it, but I did it with the team. But
I take it you weren't leading the workout.
I would rather have a beer in my hand, But the funny thing is, these activities actually show each other's characters, right? She shows us how we compensate for one another as a team and how we can work better together to bring everybody closer. And because of this, the team has been together since the beginning, and we're very happy and proud to say that, during the second lockdown, which is now, we said no, they were all worried. Actually, the first questions they asked me was, are any of us getting fired? Because I got fired last year from the previous place, what's going to happen? And I said, no, chill out, don't worry, let us worry about that, you just do your thing, and I think the trust is there, and they go like, yeah, let's do it. And I think that's a beautiful thing that happened within this year that I think is hard to build usually in other restaurants, in general spaces. Yeah.
I think what the COVID has done is it's given people a lot of time, and some people have used it well, others have freaked out. Worse still, if you've got a lot of time and you're stuck at home, then you sort of bang your head on the walls, right?
Yeah.
Anna, do you have to deal with these kind of issues, because yours has a lot to do with the brain and development? But have you seen a greater demand for what you offer because of COVID?
Yeah, well, that's definitely was also one of the reasons I thought, wow, this is perfect timing to launch something that has to do with brain health and exercise. I thought there's such a big need for it. So that the first lockdown last year was sort of kind of what pushed me to go, okay, I want to do it. I think people need it. I think it's something new in the market, something exciting. So that was the first push. Now that obviously we are into these new restrictions, what we've been doing with regards to keeping positive and changing. And so we've developed new programs. We've started collaborating with an app that wants some videos from us, which is obviously very exciting. But also we're having to look at what partnership makes sense for us, what partnership we can go into with people. So we're talking a lot more with other companies. We're also looking at developing maybe the sort of corporate well-being, sort of go into that side of things. So yeah, there has been positives perhaps, or reasons for us to kind of be agile and react fast and explore different ways of working that we really didn't think about before.
We've been living this way now for more than a year, and probably will for a bit longer, because I think we won't be able to lose our masks in a hurry, and we may not be able to travel so quickly as well. Whereas in Europe, they've opened up borders, right? My only concern is that that could result in a fresh round of sort of breakouts. And now, if that happens and this sort of spikes and take place, and we are constantly affected by it, as a small island, we are at the mercy of other parties, right? How long can you continue running the way you are running?
I guess there's no easy answer to that. We really have to adapt and see, what's the situation, how long it's going to be, and yeah, I mean, for us, there's always the fallback is the virtual platform, which actually made us sustainable during the lockdown period. So for us, it's adapting to each situation and seeing how it goes. If, as much as possible, we keep our team intact, because they're really the most important core and positions us in an ideal scenario to take advantage of any recovery that may happen around us. So I think that's something that we try not to sacrifice, and so we just find other revenue streams to then support all our operational considerations. So
you've all been forced to become a lot more creative.
Yeah.
Would you agree to that?
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's always like, okay, so these are the regulations now. Like, how do you adapt and make it work, and see what new opportunities there are in terms of, I mean, for us, and similar to Laut, is a lot about the experience. So it's really about bringing people together and seeing how that experience makes it memorable for them. So we do spend a lot of time trying to figure out what the current regulations or even norms are, and try and make it work within those acceptable norms.
Susan, was that probably a factor that drove you to make this very snap decision? I would call it a snap decision because it all came together in 1 month. How much of it was creativity? How much of it was because you felt you had to do this?
It's more like we need to do this, I mean, because it's a group of us. It's 5 of us, right? So I'm the youngest in the group. So basically, when we were talking about this, my other, like Steven, and then they say, why don't we just come up with something? And so coincidence that this food court, it's a friend's food court. So he actually offered us. So this is why then it helped us, actually decided for us to just let's go ahead. And we noticed that because everybody is nowadays, people don't really cook at home, right? I mean, they rather tapa, and they are so used to, from the last year's pandemic, lockdown, everybody is ordering. So to us is, hey, why not, And then there we can do our passion, we can cook, and also we can reach out to people and feed them with good food. So I mean, like what you said, if in future, if it's going on and it's like, lockdown and further lockdown or whatever, it's going to, we have to think of other ways to, maybe we can even go personally send the food, like Frank does, right? You do delivery on your own now. So maybe, we have to go into that in future if it happens.
So there's a question here. It's a good one, because I think it's about how the whole infrastructure ecosystem can support each other. What is the best way for customers to support you right now? Which of your offerings gives you the best ROI? That's, I suppose, a subset to that question.
Yeah,
so Anna, how can that be done?
I think like the delivery services, I think this is the best thing that happens, So anybody can just pick up the phone, just and you get your food. So So it's also very convenient for everybody, and also it's a good thing for the vendors. Or
Are you using your own delivery service? Are you creating
At
your
the-
own, or are you using an existing?
we have, we are actually tapping onto a platform soon. I think it's called My Menu or something like that. So they actually, help us to promote our menu on their website or their Facebook or social media, and from there they can dial the number. We can, it's a win-win situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Anna? How can
Our
the
customer
public out there support you?
come to the gym. Following the strict measures, we are following super strict measures with regards to safe distancing, masks, no equipment, low intensity. And lucky, because we have some of the technologies we use for training actually don't require you to touch the technology. You can just basically interact with a screen. So it's super safe. However, because of the perception of the industry in general, people have been put off by coming in, despite the fact that we are as safe as possible, obviously. So yeah, how people could help us is just come in. Come in.
And yours cannot be done virtually? Can you do certain things virtually?
You can, but it's definitely nowhere near of what you would get coming in. The gamification, the interaction with the walls and the screen is just something that you can't really replicate on a Zoom session to an extent, but is not the same.
But is something better than nothing in this case?
Yeah, sure, absolutely, for sure. I mean, going back to your question where you were asking, like, if the business, how would you evolve the business in I mean, I think for us would be to look at different spaces, right? How can we enter certain spaces without us having to incur into the rental or something like that? Like, can we set up a small gym in a co-working space, or can we set up a small corner in offices or something like that?
I think for us, honestly, the best way to help us, or rather how we help ourselves to get people to come down and see us, is more of like collaborations. So we do a lot of collaborations with other businesses that sometimes we never thought of working with, for example, or some businesses that are usually too busy to work with people. So for example, like last Sunday, we did like a one-day collaboration with Le Martin Patisserie, which is our friend Martin, who's a pastry shop owner, but he does a lot of takeaway deliveries anyway. But because there is no kind of like dine-in or takeaway where he has a small area, he has a little bit more time to like, okay, Frank, we're talking about this last time, let's do it. And we literally have like, okay, bro, it's Thursday. The thing is this Sunday. When can I get information?
It's 1 month.
No, but it worked. We posted it on the night before, and at 12 o'clock sharp, there were like people waiting outside to buy the pastries. And I mean, we feel we didn't really make a lot of money from it per se, but it was nice to see people again. It's nice to see people coming. Anyway, they need to leave house, right? They can't be at home 24/7. It's nice to just see them come and say hi, and like have a quick chat. How you doing? Take your pastries. Okay, bye. But it's still that interaction, the human interaction. I think is super important for people in our space. That actually is what drives and motivates everybody to like move forward. The constant interactions with people actually. Yeah.
So you guys have all made new friends, new partnerships, new collaborations as a result of COVID?
Yeah.
Is that a one good thing that at least that has come out of this?
Yeah. I mean, collaborations are great because you get to put two different minds in two different spaces into one, right? You talk about things that we want to do, for example, like chocolates, bonbon, for example. None of my chefs know how to do that because it's quite a specialized technique. But then we managed to, during COVID-19, talk to Mr. Bucket, Jerome, our good friend, and then he comes and eat, and then he drinks. He's like, I love what you guys do. And we're like, hey, you are doing similar to what we're doing, just in a specialized field. Now, how can we work together? And it took us a long time, 6 months to 7 months before we launched the actual product. But it's how the two minds come together to create something. I think that is something that should happen on a constant basis. I feel it's important for the industry.
The innovation, that spirit of innovation
Yeah.
is quite key, especially in difficult times, maybe. Prashant, how about you? How can people support you more?
Oh, for now, it's more of checking out our website, theprojector.sg. And, we do have films now available online on the Projector Plus. So that's something that we've replicated. It's not like a streaming platform like Netflix where you pay an annual fee or a monthly fee and you can have a buffet of films. That's what we have done is we've like curated films. So they're a bit more interesting films that you may not get elsewhere. So if you're open to that kind of content, you actually stream it and you rent it for $10 or $8 and you can watch it similar to a cinema kind of thing where you pay per movie. So that's what we are focusing on for the next 2 weeks. And it's something that we launched last July after COVID. And then we'll be back in the cinemas at Golden Mile and Riverside Point. So we hope to see everyone there after that, mid-June onwards.
So when you rent a film online, how does it work? You can only view it the one time?
No, you can view it multiple times, but within a 48-hour period. So what some people do is they watch half of it, on a Saturday night and then continue on Sunday, for example. So you can watch it multiple times, but within a 48-hour period.
How many films do you have?
Oh, I've lost count, but I think should be more than 30 or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, and these would be more art house films?
Yeah, well, it's not just art house, but it's a bit more international films. So from countries that you may not expect, like we do have a lot of festival winners, but from say South America, like Brazil or Mexico. We also have European films or Korean films that are not your typical kind of Korean dramas. So it's a bit more contemporary cinema that you wouldn't expect. So that's something that we would like to showcase, and we help you choose that in a sense. Rather than you have to go through this whole buffet and try and click until you have fatigue and then you decide not to watch anything.
So tired you fall asleep.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. To round up the session, could I just have one point from each of you on a tip that you would like to share with the audience about your whole experience with business and in this COVID period and the shutdowns or lockdowns or whatever downtimes that you've had? The one tip that you'd like to share with the audience. Frank, let's start with you.
Never say no.
Unless it's a negative question.
Well, what I mean is usually from like we meet a lot of people, and just you never know when people can come in handy to you in life. So basically, like, don't burn bridges. Everybody someday may just need your help and you need their help. And I think it's an industry. What's important is to help one another without having anything in return. Because one day somebody else may help you. I think that is important.
Cool. Okay. Prashant?
Yeah, actually, really echoing Frank's comments, it's really about just seizing opportunities and also finding your own collaborators. Everyone is going through this and figuring their way out. So, and we don't operate as just a cinema. There's a whole ecosystem with distributors, with an audience, with all that. So it's very important to find people who are willing to work with you and even experiment and all that and find new opportunities from there.
Okay. Anna?
Yeah, sorry. I'd say be agile, be fast, move quick, and just try stay positive because things will get better. So try to remind yourself like every day, okay, look, this is where I started. I'm gonna keep going and things will get better.
Okay. And Susan?
Yeah, I guess you just have to, like what Anna says, be quick and don't hesitate. If you know that it's going to work, just try it, and then eventually you will find help. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you to all the panelists because I think what this session has shown is that we could be living in very challenging times, but I think as long as the spirit of endeavor and enterprise and the desire to keep things open, keep your options alive, and keep the networks buzzing, you will find ways and means of getting around these challenges. Be it interactive menus or virtual movies, or maybe even exercising to a screen, whatever it may be. But they may be a stopgap measure until things turn better. They could become its own business environment, which could flourish all by itself as well, in tandem with whatever your existing endeavors may be. So stay open, keep an open mind to things, and stay upbeat. I guess that's quite important in all of this, and just hope for the best, and rest assured that whatever's being done is being done so that we can get out of this in good shape as far as possible.